Want a full unique red loadout in CS2 under $100, $200 or $500? Well, today I'm sharing the best red skins in CS2 across every budget that not only look incredible, but offer up some great combos without breaking the bank. Let's start with the USP-S, and your cheapest entry point will be the check engine from the recently discontinued 2018 Inferno collection. I'd highly suggest buying in at least minimal wear for about $1.30, as it looks significantly better than field tested, or upgrade it to factory new for $3. Next, one of my personal favorites is the Bleeding Edge. From the Radiant collection, this was only introduced last year and currently goes for $1.27 field tested or about $10 factory new. However, could see its price come down if it remains in the active drop pool long term. The Cyrex is a classic skin family, first seen all the way back in May 2014. And shares its pattern with the SCAR 20, SG, and M4A1S. While it's selling for $3 field tested, its factory new counterpart has seen huge price volatility recently due to glove case skid pumps and is currently sitting at over $42. I personally think the USP-S Trader is an underrated skin. It's got a nice blend of dark royal blues alongside gold detailing and is a great cheaper alternative to the next skin we're going to discuss. Plus, look at how well it pairs with these gloves and Agent with that gold through line. This video's sponsor, SkinSwap, is giving you a skin worth up to $50 entirely for free whenever you do your first trade and use my referral code. If you want to refresh your loadout, you can trade your skins for brand new ones in just a couple of seconds. Plus, their market tab now integrates cheap listings from Chinese sites so you can access the best prices without the need for a Chinese ID or bank account. They accept deposits via crypto, MasterCard, and Visa. If you want to cash out, SkinSwap makes that simple too with instant sell options to PayPal or crypto. On top of that, they run free daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways with the chance to earn extra entries simply by trading. Use the link below for a 3% lifetime sales bonus and a free skin worth up to $50. Big thanks to SkinSwap for supporting the channel. The Kill Confirmed is one of the most iconic USP-S skins at this point of any color. It's got extremely low supply as a covert from the shadow case, but is always popular. It'll set you back $68 for field tested or $259 in factory new. As a fun fact, this skin looks quite different in the Chinese version Perfect World, which doesn't allow human skull designs to be used. If the P2000 is more your style, then a great budget option is the Imperial. A mil-spec from the Revolver collection, it sells for just 30 cents in field tested or a little under $2 for factory new. Alternatively, if you like the camo style geometric patterns, the P2000 Red Frag Cam is a solid pick. I'd say it's a little pricey at $24 factory new, but the minimal wear price tag of $5 seems like great value. And then what I kind of see as the older buff brother of the early Imperial is the Imperial Dragon. A similar base color, but the gold dragon detailing here is next level. It does come in at $48 factory new, but once again, I'd say minimal wear is your sweet spot at about $9.50. Moving on, and these Glock skins might actually surprise you. The Candy Apple is a no-brainer for a simple clean red skin at under $1 in field tested. It also has several skins in the same family that you could pair it with, and is a great canvas for sticker crafts. There's a ton on CS Float which you could look at for inspiration. Next up, we have the Glock 18 Vogue. You've likely seen one of these in-game before, as it's a solid looking skin with bold colors at a pretty affordable price point, $3 field tested or $12 factory new. If you've been around for a while, then the Water Elemental is likely pretty nostalgic. This was one of the skins seemingly everyone aspired to own back in 2014 when it was released. It holds up pretty well in field tested at the $16 mark, or you can upgrade for $53. And last but certainly not least, we've got the Glock Fade. And ideally for this themed loadout, you actually want a lower percentage fade which features more red and orange. This is one of the most iconic skins in the entire game and has a nearly $1,700 price tag to match. Before we jump into the next weapon skin, we've got to talk about perhaps the most important part of any loadout, the knife and glove combo. These are usually what define the entire look and can also be a significant part of the budget. The cheapest entry to a red knife glove combo is with a pair of field tested Autotronic shadow daggers alongside Broken Fang needlepoint gloves, also in field tested. It's not a perfect match, but at $97, you won't find anything cheaper. For a little more, you could make a significant upgrade with a pair of field tested Raising the Red driver gloves paired with a minimal wear gut knife slaughter. For $177, I reckon this combo punches well above its weight. For around the $350 mark, you could pair a stiletto knife Crimson Web with its specialist glove Crimson Web counterpart, both in field tested. This combo offers up a bold look that really stands out, and I'm personally a huge fan of the stiletto. Alternatively, the Kukri Knife Slaughter offers up a big blade with a clean look at $147 factory new, and could run with a pair of Scarlet Shamars in field tested at $203. Moving up a little in price, we've actually got access to a ruby knife. Yes, it's an Everheart, but I actually think the tan handle pairs just about perfectly with the palm of the new Red Racer gloves. For under $500, you can have a pair of new gen gloves with a ruby. What more do I have to say? Next, we've got the Talon Knife Slaughter in factory new, alongside a pair of these sports glove slingshots. And the slingshots have been a staple pick for red combos since they were first added. This combo will set you back $1,020 with field tested gloves. Another alternative around the 1K mark are the new Brocade Crane gloves in field tested with a Bowie knife ruby. And of course, any Daryl that features gold jewelry to match up with the gold detailing of the glove. You might want to overpay a little for low float field tested, but this is a banger combo that only just surpasses that 4-digit threshold. This is also the agent and glove combo we're using for this video. If you're not tight on budget, why not go for the Sport Gloves Occult minimal wear with a butterfly fade for something a little different? Or for an S tier endgame combo, of course we have to mention the Crimson Kimono Specialist gloves with an M9 ruby. This will cost you more than 455 Wilson's value pack of 12 tennis balls on Amazon, but hey, it does look incredible. If you want to play around with some more glove options, there's also the Sports Glove Bronze Morph, Motor Gloves Blood Pressure, Driver Gloves Dragon Fist and Driver Gloves Crimson Weave, and Hand Wrap Slaughter. And if you're enjoying the video guys, please give it a thumbs up, it really helps out. Agent wise, we're using the Daryls, which offer that clean sleeveless look with a bit of jewelry that I really enjoy. However, a great option depending on your glove choice would be the Raisin the Red shirt, who has a knitted red sleeve on the right arm. To me, it looks pretty good with the Raisin the Red gloves, which has this tan stitching that actually matches the left sleeve fairly well. And why not pair it with a high float, field tested classic knife Slaughter, where the blade also actually matches that tan color pretty well. On the CT side, Michael Cyphers can actually go pretty strong with the black sleeves, especially if you like the red and black combo look. Or go for a sleeveless finish with Rex Crikey or Commander Rexor. Let's keep going with the pistols. Moving on to the P250. The Constructivist from the Train 2025 collection is the cheapest entry point, and would actually go particularly well if you decide to run the Michael Cyphers agent we just mentioned. The Nevermore is another great affordable option at just $1.12 minimal wear or about $5.50 in factory new. It's a pattern-based skins where pattern featuring the Raven in a central location like number 73 can drive overpay. However, if you don't care about the bird, you can simply look for ones with max red. The Contaminant is a little off-putting. Its 3D design looks a bit like the inside of an alien brain. Not my cup of tea, but definitely red, and only 78 cents field tested or about $9 for factory new. Next, we move on to my favorite option for this weapon, the Muertos. This is very much Day of the Dead inspired, and I really like the pattern. I had one of these in my loadout for many years. Finally, we have the P250 Crimson Kimono. This is a pretty pricey option at over $60 factory new, despite only being industrial grade, and that's because it's part of the Rising Sun collection, trading up to the legendary AK Hydroponic. Once again, highly pattern based, so the best options are the ones that keep the intricate detailing on the barrel rather than the handle. Let's move on to the Tech 9. And fun fact, the Tech here actually stands for technology, and the 9 refers to the 9mm ammunition it fires. A super affordable option here is the Red Quartz from the OG Train collection released in 2013, at just 62 cents factory new. There's also the Tech 9 re-entry with its almost flamethrower-like design on a neon blue palette. Kind of offers up some arcane or cyberpunk vibes to me. This one's only $1.20 field tested or about $10 factory new. And finally, the Tech 9 Isaac, actually made by the same creator as the Asimov family, named after the famous American science fiction writer Isaac Asimov. This skin wears pretty well, so even around 0.3 float field tested for $3.50, it looks fairly clean. Swapping teams for the 5.7, we've got the Urban Hazard from the Operation Vanguard case. This is a no-brainer at just $2.30 field tested, or $4 factory new, as the other options we're about to discuss are all significantly more expensive. The 5.7 Candy Apple shares the same design as the Glock we mentioned earlier, but sits at about $80 in all conditions. That's because it's from the 2013 Assault collection and trades up to the float-capped Glock Fade. Another skin I don't see very often is the Crimson Blossom. This one is about $70 field tested, or $98 factory new, as it's in the St. Mark collection, which features the AK Wild Lotus, but has some nice floral detailing. And finally, the 5.7 Berries and Cherries. Here, you'll want to look for the cherry fade patterns, such as number 182, which offers a max red look. This skin honestly just combines the M4 Hot Rod finish with a case hardened blue gem. Pretty insane skin with a $180 factory new price tag to match. Up next are the Jewel Berettas. Once again, if you're going for that two-tone red and black scheme, then the Panther is a great option at $3 field tested or $8 factory new. The Hemoglobin offers up that almost chrome hot rod look without a crazy price tag to match. These will set you back $15 field tested or $20 in factory new. An interesting option is the Twin Turbo from the recently discontinued 2018 Inferno collection. It's got that Italian green, white, red racing helmet style design. Depending on which gloves you've gone for, this green and yellow detailing could work. Then finishing off the pistols, we've got the Nico Whiff Machine.
And Simple sitting no!
The Serpent Strike is a solid, affordable option from the Active Fever case at just 41 cents field tested or around $2.50 in factory new. The Crimson Web is another strong contender, and Minimal Wear offers up a nice middle ground, look and price wise at about $32. When compared to the $260 factory new price tag, it looks a little more reasonable, still with a fairly clean finish. The Code Red would probably be my top Deagle pick, especially since at higher wears, the design simply gets darker without adding many new scratches. This will cost you about $40 field tested or $200 factory new. There are actually two Sunset Storm Deagles, with one of them featuring a nice Japanese man's head on the handle. They are once again from the Rising Sun collection, so carry quite a hefty price tag at around $530 factory new, but look fantastic in game, especially under the rain. And of course, we had to include the next two, starting with the Fennec Fox from Mirage 2021. And this skin has actually come down in price quite a bit since the introduction of souvenir trade-ups, so you can pick one up for about $180 in field tested or $500 factory new. It's predominantly orange, but I still think it fits really well into the loadout, especially with these brocade crane gloves. And finally, perhaps the ultimate Desert Eagle for many, the Blaze. With the recent price drops, you can actually pick it up around the $630 mark on SkinSwap right now. And as always, all of the great prices in this video are from SkinSwap, so check them out via the link in the description. Let's now take a look at the SMGs, and we'll start with the MP9. The Ruby Poison Dart is a solid pick from the Falchion collection at only $1 in field tested or about $5.50 in factory new. We've also got the Setting Sun, which is actually from the original Cash map collection. Its price has seen an increase lately with all the hype surrounding the map's return, so it's now sitting at either 23 field tested or 55 factory new. And then to round it out, another banger of a skin, the MP9 Hot Rod. This just looks so clean in CS2 and will set you back around $180 right now, down from a high 6 months ago of over $600. An excellent option. Moving on to the Mac 10, and we've got a number of really solid, affordable picks. The Sakaku is actually a really interesting option here at just 70 cents field tested, which is the best condition due to the float cap. I've seen a ton of really creative sticker crafts for this skin, so go wild. The Candy Apple returns and is extremely cheap on the Mac 10 at just 43 cents factory new, so this is once again a great pickup for a red theme. If you want an alternative which still has a predominantly red base with a simple pattern, the Carnivore goes for about 35 cents field tested or $5.50 factory new. The Pipe Down is a really unique skin with this 3D pipes effect. Kind of reminds me of the Pompidou Center in Paris actually. 44 cents field tested or about $7 factory new. Now while I wasn't going to include it originally, I've decided to also mention the Mac 10 Derailment. It features several colors, but with the bright red wire stock and flames from the explosion, I actually think it still fits the red theme quite well, while perhaps offering up a bit of color contrast. Prices are currently around $2 for field tested and $19 factory new, but are fairly volatile at the moment due to uncertainty surrounding Train 2025's removal from the armory. Now for the MP7, we're jumping in with the Coral Paisley. This is a great, cheap option at just 34 cents factory new from the recent Harlequin collection. The full stop is pretty slept on. In fact, I doubt you even knew it existed. Trust me, I didn't either until making this video. It's got the camo pattern that we see on a lot of different skins, but very rarely in red. $32 for field tested here, or $45 for factory new. And finally, the Bloodsport is another iconic Counter-Strike skin family. You can pick it up here on the MP7 for about 29 field tested or 71 factory new. That wraps up the sidearms, so let's move into the big ones. And there are some absolutely iconic rifle skins in this red theme. Starting with the M4A1S, the Night Terror is one of the best at its price point, under $1 in most conditions and around $2 for factory new. The Blood Tiger is an OG skin, released as part of the Weapon Case 2 all the way back in 2013. It's highly pattern based, so you could use a site like csgo Skins to easily scroll through the options and find the max red patterns. It's currently selling for $5 in field tested or about $25 in factory new. The Cyrex is back once again, and since the introduction of gold trade-ups, there's actually not much price difference amongst the conditions since they all trade up directly to butterfly knives. Therefore, you might as well pick it up for about $180 in factory new. The Shantico's Fire is a bit of a divisive skin. Either you love it or you absolutely hate it. Personally, I'm more so the latter, especially with its $105 field tested and $323 factory new price tag, but I had to include it. The Welcome to the Jungle is, in my opinion, an absolutely beautiful skin. It's the Covert from the Ancient collection released in 2020, and has a highly intricate snake design that wraps around the main barrel. It will set you back about $800 in field tested or $1,800 for factory new. A big investment, but a banger skin. And of course, we have to finish off on the Red MP9 skin, the Hot Rod. This also carries a hefty price tag at about $1,700, but it is actually down significantly from its $4,000 high late last year. This is a dream skin for many players. I'm giving away a pair of Sport Gloves Omega in field tested this month. For your chance to win, simply like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I'll pick the winner on June 30th. Good luck. The M4A4 is up next, and we've got some real heavy hitters this time. Jumping in with the converter, a ton of people use this as a cheap base to make the fake house sticker craft. It's only 90 cents field tested, or about $2 factory new. The Evil Daimyo is another solid budget pick with a ton of red for just $3 in field tested, or about $10 factory new. The Tooth Fairy is a bit of an oddball here, but actually I think it pairs extremely well with the Sports Glove Slingshot in particular. Let me know what you think of this pairing in the comments. The Hellfire is up next, and this one has had mixed reception over the years. It spent most of its life around the $30 mark, even in factory new, but then after huge price pumps in 2025, reached a peak of over $1,000. Now it's sitting around the $500 mark in factory new and $168 field tested. Personally, I like it, but the price is prone to volatility. The Radiation Hazard is actually one of the rarest skins in the entire game, with only about 400 in existence in factory new. This used to be one of the first collector's skins, especially in souvenir condition, so it has a real OG vibe, and a price tag of $29 field tested, or about $480 in factory new. To finish off the M4s, it needs no introduction. Of course, we have the Howl, the only contraband skin in the game with the original design taken out due to copyright. I won't include the price because if you can afford the skin, the price tag shouldn't matter. Now let's get down to business with the AK-47. While there aren't any real options under the $5 mark, the Nuit Rouge is a nice entry point, with a design punching well above its weight. It's only $11 field tested and $90 factory new, but its price is likely to come down depending how long it remains in the active drop pool. Of course, we couldn't make a Red loadout video without discussing the Red line. This is the original AK skin for sticker crafts and one of the penultimate liquidity markers of the Counter-Strike economy. What an iconic skin. It's not available in factory new due to the float cap, so you can pick it up for $29 field tested or $143 in minimal wear. The Orbit Mark 1 comes from the Operation Hydra case and could be elevated if you're rocking an agent with silver jewelry to match its grey metal plates. Next, we're featuring an OG skin family, the Laminates, and so of course it's the Red Laminate we're talking about. Expect to pay about $56 field tested or a considerable $540 in factory new, as it's got extremely low supply overall. And we're not done yet. There's several more great options for a Red AK. Valve seems to quite like this color. The MP7's counterpart is here in the AK Bloodsport from the Spectrum case. A really solid pickup around the $125 mark in field tested or roughly $160 factory new. The Empress is one of my favorite skins in the game. Such intricate detailing that just looks beautiful and a nice mix of bold royal colors. Plus, like the Bloodsport, the skin doesn't actually get scratches in lower wears, but instead just turns darker, so some of the cheaper rarities offer up great value. And finally, we have the rather controversial AK X-Ray. Some people really seem to despise this skin, so it's up to you if you want to fork out the $700 for a field tested version or upwards of $2,400 for factory new. That wraps up the primary rifles, so let's now have a look at the Galil. An excellent affordable option is the Signal from the Danger Zone case at just $3.50 even in factory new. It's simple but gets the job done. However, my preferred pick would be the Crimson Tsunami. I actually think this skin pairs really well with the cheap needlepoint gloves. Plus, it's another pattern-based skin, so you can have some fun finding the one you like. In general, a central wave is more desirable, but you could also find other alternatives with more red. For the CT side, we've got the FAMAS Survivor Z, offering up those Dead by Daylight vibes. Even in factory new, it's got scratches by design, so I think minimal wear at just 83 cents is great value. For a slightly more futuristic, sleek look, the Valance from the Wildfire collection is a solid pickup around the $3 mark field tested or $27 factory new. The Styx is a pretty old skin, released as part of the original Cash collection in 2013. Covered in skulls and bones, it feels kind of blood-ridden. It doesn't wear very well in field tested, so I'd suggest minimal wear once again for around the $21 mark. And our final pick for the FAMAS is the Roll Cage, another skin that's mostly overlooked. However, I think it pairs particularly well with the Red Racer gloves, as the tan palm of the gloves matches the skin's brown base paint quite nicely. This will set you back $95 in field tested or nearly $150 in factory new, as it's a direct trade up route to the Gamma Doppler knives. We'll finish off the video with the sniper rifles. For the SSG, the Calligrapho from the Harlequin collection is a great pickup at only $1.45 factory new. A really bright, bold red covered in subtle calligraphy. An interesting alternative would be the Bloodshot. Once again, a skin I rarely see in-game, as it's from the fairly rare Shattered Web collection. The graphic style kind of gives me Among Us vibes, especially these bones on the buttstock. Minimal wear offers up up great value here at $16 versus $122 for factory new. Finally, let's move on to the big green, or for this video, the big red. And we've got some fantastic options for you. The exothermic is a no-brainer if you're on a budget. It's like ruby shades of glass, and you can pick it up for as little as $3.80 in field tested or around $13 factory new. The mortise is actually a pretty cool pairing, I think. While its base tone is more bronze, it's got a fair amount of red detailing throughout the design, including on the scope, and in my opinion is a really underrated skin for just $3 field tested or roughly $21 in factory new. Of course, the AK Redline's partner in crime is here, the AWP Redline, another iconic skin from the CSGO days. Not much needs to be said, besides it'll set you back $35 for field tested, as it's once again float capped. The chrome cannon actually fits pretty naturally into a red loadout with its red, perhaps slightly mauve scope pattern. Not everyone's cup of tea, but at $26 field tested or about $80 factory new, I think it's a solid option. For some of the high tier sniper picks, we've got the AWP Wildfire with its fiery dragon design. This is a beautiful skin for only $42 field tested, but I'd say is still great value at about $180 factory new. The AWP Long Dog, until the last chance to buy message was added to the armory, was pretty much ignored by the CS community. However, I think it's a great fit for a red loadout. Sure, it's got a predominantly white fur base, but pretty much all the detailing, including around the scope and buttstock, are red. Depending on when you watch this video, it may also have investing potential after its removal from the armory. Right now, it's sitting at $139 field tested and $890 factory new. If I missed any of your favorite red skins, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, be sure to check out one of these videos next. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.